Yeah, Back to the Future and Jurassic Park are my favorite movies.
I love Jurassic Park. Jurassic
Yeah.
Park and Jurassic World.
Oh yeah, Jurassic World, which the new one I think comes out next summer, but with all that happened, who knows if that's still true.
Right.
Is
No, I just adore Chris Pratt. He's the
Yeah.
best.
is Jurassic World it's the latest one, like, and there's that scene where he has to jump in the cage with
Yeah.
those three, and he's like giving the
Yeah.
commands like behave, sit down. And like that reminds me of me with like kids in my classroom when I was
Oh
teaching.
yeah.
Like it was a funny scene.
Funny.
I think
Okay.
both of those. I think both Jurassic Parks. They're meant to make you laugh. Honestly, it's almost a comedy.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. But what's with Back to the Future? What gets you with that one?
It was something that I watched obviously when I was younger, and they
Mhm.
just for some reason stuck with me. And then I had Jackson watch them with me, and he loved them too. I don't know. It's
Aw.
just I don't. Yeah, it's like a thing. Like I just escape, and that's what I watch. I don't
I
know.
love it.
And that's with Jurassic Park too. I remember when I was like 11, sitting on the living room floor at our house at the time, and um, just loving them. I don't know. Just again, it's like it's like this feeling and the memories that it brings. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yes, I'm putting on my makeup because I have a very packed day, and I just don't have time to do all this stuff. No, I'm fine. I'll be okay. I have time. I have all the time. But
You
I
have
do
enough
want
time
this
to do
done.
everything you want to today.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's topic. So what you had posted about Anna, I liked, and then Kelly, you talked about something. So maybe we could kind of go into that stuff
Perfect.
Sure.
from the boxer.
Yep. Let me
Yeah.
just refresh my memory and pull that up. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I had said ignoring the doubters, the Josie thing, and Kelly, you had said asking for help, never give up, and ignoring the doubters.
Well, I think one of the things about ignoring the doubters and asking for help is sometimes those can go really hand in hand, because at least for me, I think to myself, if I ask for help, these people are going to doubt that I have the ability to do it. So then you make the doubters because you ask for help, which I know is a very strange, like, melding of them. But for women especially, yes, I went there. We multitask way too much. We don't ever ask for help. And if we do, it's like, we're at our end to the point we're going to break or split, or we already have. And then maybe we put it back onto ourselves that we become a doubter. Because if I can't do this and I have to ask for help, then all of a sudden I become a doubter. Does that make sense? Like I'm doubting myself, so therefore everybody else doubts me.
Like if I can't do this alone, if I can't do this myself, if I can't do this without help, then there must be something wrong with me, or I'm not capable enough, or I'm not competent enough.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, this is resonating. I live this. Like this is a constant struggle for me.
As well as for me. And I think that is in one hand, it's such a foolish struggle, because really we put ourselves in environments of people who want to help us. I mean, think of all three of us. We are in groups and with each other where we want to support each other. But how often do we really ask each other for help? Right? We offer it, but do we accept it? No, because if I can't do it myself, then I'm not good enough, or maybe this isn't for me, or whatever it is. So we do all the things we need to do, but at the very end of the day, we don't do them. Oh, sorry. Was that too like?
Stop apologizing for your amazing thoughts.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. I think for me, my silence here is just I'm thinking. I'm absorbing what you said, like processing it, because like I just said, I live here a lot, and I don't live in this space as often as I used to, because I now recognize I do it. But I guess that's the first step. Like, if anybody is listening to this who's like, whoa, I have those same thoughts too, and I never realized it. That's a pretty powerful just place to sit for a second.
It is, and it can become a place where it's hard to get up from, or there's, it's this, and it doesn't have to be massive. I remember this post that I posted a couple years ago, and it was this road, and there was this little tiny sign that said like stop here or construction, where you could go around it, you could go over it. I mean, so much, but people, they get so caught up because you get to this point where you're like, I need help, but I can do this. Just give myself time, or, but we don't take that leap and move forward because we're stuck in, we can do this by ourselves, but we have 5,000 things we do have to do. And yeah, those could be excuses, but they could also be reality of, we have so many other things to do. Like Amanda, like, what was it, like a month ago? I was asking her a question and she goes, are you serious? You really want to take on this project? I do this all the time. Why are you doing this to yourself? Let me do it. And I'm thinking to myself, she's right. I could do it myself. It will take me 10 times as long. This is what she does. But because I felt like, oh, I have to do this or else I'm not good enough, then I was like, no, it's okay. Even though I knew it was no big deal. You know what I mean? But we get to this point of, yeah, we can do it all, and we can do it all wonderfully. And that's just not true.
That's so not true. We can do it all. We all do it all, but we don't do it wonderfully.
Or we take 10 times longer than we could have. We could be at point C and then instead of A.5, because we're trying to work through it all, instead of just asking help and saying, you know what, can you, it's going to cost me, $25 to have this person do what I need to do. That's going to take me 5 hours. Well, $5 an hour? I mean, like, it doesn't, I'm worth so much more than that, which is something that you've always taught me, Anna, too. You're like, you're going to go look that up and we could buy it for like $10.
Right.
What am I thinking? You know what I mean?
So if you don't have the $10, of course, spend the time. But when you're looking at your to-do list and you're saying, I can't get this all done, but I have to get this all done, that's a really big, like a hold up, wait a minute moment, right? It's why am I telling myself that I have to do all this? Why? Because I'm investing all the time. I'm investing my time, my energy, my money, my relationships. There is always an investment, always. I just forget that sometimes that I can choose other people to invest in, and then they will give me a return on what I'm investing in, or I'm investing myself to the extent that sometimes I invest myself so heavily that I get exhausted and I burn out and there's nothing left. And nobody wants to get to that point. Nobody. But even when we get to that point, if we let ourselves get to that point, we still kick ourselves and say, I should have been able to do this. No, we shouldn't have. Have you ever heard of, approaching business with masculine energy versus feminine energy?
It's been a very long time, but I have heard that. That's funny because my mom and I were just having a conversation this morning about multitasking. I was trying to put my makeup on, talk to her, and making sure my daughter was getting her breakfast fine, and I choked on my own spit because I was doing so many things. She's like, men don't multitask, right? They just do the thing, they get it done, and they move on, and that's why they don't choke on their spit. But it's true. It's not so much men, but it's that masculine energy, like you were saying, is so concentrated in a different area than the woman. And yet we put the woman energy into the areas that we necessarily should be putting the men energy into. Does that make sense?
My husband and I kind of had a talk like about this. What are you going to do, Anna? Oh, okay. My husband and I were having like a little talk about this, and this has to do with how different men and women are, is he's a manager and he has people that work for him, and they were going to do a weight loss type challenge thing within their branch, and do like whoever loses the most weight wins something. And I'm like, Nick, there's women in there too, and then there's men. You both can't compete the same, because men lose weight a lot faster than women do. And he goes, one of the admins told me that. She's a woman. I said, because she knows what she's talking about. Like, men and women are not built the same. Yes, we can do some of the same things. Yes, we can achieve some things, but we are not meant to be built. We were not designed to be the same. And it's crazy because he was like, yeah, okay. And he's like, but I just want to win. So I'm like, okay, I get it. He's very competitive if there's something that he's going to get out of it, like he wants to win. And I'm like, I get it. And you probably would win, because the majority of the people in your office, in the office, are women.
If
you
I'm sitting over here going,
with them. Yeah, you can't compete with a woman when it comes to weight and your body. Yeah. You can't, because we're not the same. And this could go down a whole nother path of how women want to be equal to men and yada yada. We're not going to go there, but at the end of the day, men and women are different body wise
and mentally
and hormonal wise. Yes, mentally. Like, we're physically different human beings, like we just are. And I've learned that a lot from you, Anna.
Yeah, and I'm okay. So go back to that challenge. So if you've ever been in an office or a group of friends who has initiated a challenge like that, and you felt like, what, this is an unfair competition. It really is unfair if you're going to set it up as strictly like number of pounds lost, like just across the board. A woman will have a super hard time with that if she's competing against men. If she's competing amongst women, only women, then it will work a little better. But if anybody wants to set up a challenge like that, what you have to do is you have to take different measurements. You have to look at as a percentage of body fat.
Yes.
But even then it's hard, because women have a higher percentage of body fat than men. Like, that's actually part of the way our bodies are designed, because it provides a more hospitable environment for nurturing a child. You know, whether you're ever wanting to have babies or not, that's just the way your body is naturally made. So I personally hate weight loss challenges, absolutely hate them. I am not a weight loss coach. And I, for a long time, fought against that. Like, I was like, I have to be a weight loss coach because that's what everybody in my company does. We all just promote weight loss. I'm like, but I'm not a weight loss coach. So, you know, even that, like thinking, hey, if I'm not going to be, if I can't be a weight loss coach, I'll never be successful in my company, but I have to be a weight loss coach because that's what everybody else is doing. No, slow your roll here. If you're feeling like it's resistance, if that to-do list is too hard, if there's something in you that's going, but you keep telling yourself I should, or I have to, and you just keep fighting and fighting, that is not aligned energy. That's going to lead you to burnout and to hating what you do. Like, you can't do that. So yeah, if Nick wants to talk to me about like his office challenge, I'd be happy to talk with him and the ladies in the office because I got words.
Oh yeah, I had them too. I was like, okay, like, that's not even right. You can't compare.
No.
And it's funny. It is funny that one of the other women said that too to him, and the fact that I said it too. He's like, oh, she does know what she's talking about.
Yeah. But I mean, the thing is like, your husband is not ignorant. Obviously, he's not. But it does go to show you that a lot of people don't realize the differences in literally just our physical bodies. So anyway, but yeah,
back to that feminine and masculine energy. There's a time and place for both. I can be in total masculine mode, and then there's days where I'm like total like feminine. I'm feeling it, like in it. So I honestly embrace both, and I don't try to fight against either one. And for so long I did. I thought I had to be this like woman and nurture and like soft and gentle, and but I'm like, I'm not, that's not me. But there are days that I am that way. So that's that. But yeah, it's you just got to embrace it all, because at the end of the day, a woman has masculine energy and feminine energy.
Yep. So
So.
I have this book, right? I got it in front. That's why I got up to do a minute ago. It's called
Okay.
It's called Woman Code. It's by a woman named Alyssa Vitti, and I may be pronouncing her name wrong, but we'll drop the information in the show notes. This book has been life-changing for me. And the description on the book in front, it says, perfect your cycle, amplify your fertility, supercharge your sex drive, and become a power source. So she literally just says our female bodies speak to us, and that's the code, and we just need to learn to decipher the code. And once we understand the code, we're able to then align with our femininity and what our female bodies do, and then we can live this amazing, energetic, powerful, aligned life. And by the way, when I say women, I mean, like, because I know that there are transgender women and transgender men who might listen to this. So human bodies born female or like assigned female at birth kind of is what we're talking about here. So if you are hormonally like female, you have female hormones, this would apply to you. So she actually has a complete section here that's called that talks about this masculine feminine energy. So would you allow me to read just a little bit out of the book?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. She says, I launched into what became 2 years worth of investigating the distinction between masculine and feminine energetics. I researched all that gender psychology had to teach me on the subject and learned about Tantra, an Eastern philosophy that believes the universe is created by and made up of masculine Shiva and feminine Shakti energies that infuse all things. Which, by the way, if you come from a Christian background, which is how I was religiously trained and raised, we believe that the great energy entity is, we call it God, and we believe that God created male and female in quote unquote his image. And I think Christian religion has taken this idea of his image and made God this masculine energy. But in reality, God is both masculine and feminine, or I'm going to say not genderless, but gender combined. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And it just so happens that the English language doesn't have a gender neutral pronoun. Like we have to assign male or female. We don't have a genderless pronoun. So that's why. Anyway, you can go into the whole patriarchy, all of that with language and religion, which is way beyond the scope of this podcast. But just if you're like going, I never thought of it like that. And just think of that great divine energy as being both masculine and feminine at the same time. I then took this information and put together an understanding of masculine and feminine energy that was more practical for me and that I could share with others. The first thing I realized was that being a man or a woman does not give a person more or less access to masculine or feminine energy. Both energies exist within each of us in varying amounts. Learning how to engage both fully in what ends up making a person Learning how to engage both fully is what ends up making a person psychologically, emotionally, and physically well. Just as you wouldn't operate a remote control with only one battery, you need both of these energies as your power sources. They're necessary tools for shaping your life. Doesn't that just like, whoa, I've never thought about it like that. Like batteries and a remote control, I need both.
Right.
And yeah. And batteries actually have masculine and feminine ends, by the way, just so you know.
That's a very good point. And the whole fact that you need, well, not you need, sorry, didn't mean to start my sentence like that. But if we possess both, we want to make sure that we're using the proper energy in the proper activity or thought process or work that we're doing. And I think a lot of times for me, sometimes I get them mixed up.
Yeah.
Or I don't stop and say, I need to pivot, like Anna would say, to this energy right now, because this is the energy I need to be working this particular activity or environment with. Yeah. Because again, in our lives, think about it, all of a sudden you may have to shift again. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like right here, you're working with your kids and you want to do female, but then you got to shift and get over to the male because then you got to do work, especially for those people who are working at home right now. Mm-hmm. you know, it's that constant, you got to shift and shift. And if you're not used to making those shifts or identifying that which energy needs to go to which activity, it becomes this confusion. Or, you know, I'll just stay in this energy because it's easier. Well, really it's not, but it's quicker. That's the word I'm looking for.
So she gives a list of what masculine and what feminine energies look like.
Oh,
So just before I read it, just think about, you know, us three in what we've been doing recently in our business and our personal lives. I invite the audience to do that as well, to think about as I read this, like, so, oh, this is how I've been energetically managing this aspect of my life versus this aspect. And if you've been feeling really stuck, or like you're banging your head against the wall, or just things aren't flowing, they just don't feel right, it could be, and you might be able to make this association today, is that the task at hand needs more feminine energy and you're giving it a lot of masculine energy, and or vice versa. Or, you know, it requires both energies, but it needs a little bit more feminine, a little bit less masculine. So let me continue on, and I'll read the masculine energy first. It's a list of about like 7, so it's not super long. All right, so masculine energy is tenaciously pursuing what you want, deciding when and where and how a project grows, focusing on the end result and less on the process, focusing on one thing at a time, relying only on yourself and your individual achievements, setting boundaries around emotions and your body in order to accomplish the goals, and relating through camaraderie, entertainment, and problem solving. Okay, so that's definitely masculine energy. I do all of those things. I have masculine energy. I know all you two do as well, and every single person listening to this has masculine energy. And I know what areas of my life do best when I apply that type of energy. Okay, so let's see what the feminine energy says. It says, feminine energy is magnetically attracting what you want, holding the space for projects to develop at their natural pace, enjoying the process of creation independent of the end result, seeing the big picture and multitasking on many aspects of life, working with others, effortlessly creating community, connecting to emotional and physical life as a catalyst for change and development, relating to others by listening, sharing, and nurturing. Right? And there are definitely places in my life and my business where that it needs feminine energy. Like, just let's take a step back and let's just talk about Facebook communities, right? A Facebook community. There are Facebook communities I love to be in because I feel that feminine energy. It's a place where I can enjoy creation. I can work on my energy. I'm connecting and relating to other people. I'm sharing. It's a nurturing environment. So I need that, and it's a very feminine energy space for me, both to like demonstrate feminine energy as well as receive it. But running my own Facebook group, what energy does that require?
Masculine.
More masculine.
Masculine
Yeah.
energy. So I think that's why sometimes people create Facebook communities, because they're desiring that feminine energy of nurturing community, but it's really hard. It's really hard you can't run your own Facebook community and expect to get all that nurturing out of it, because it's a masculine energy role, right? So if you're just out there just like, oh, I just love talking about this stuff, I'm going to create a Facebook group about it. And then like 2 months later, you're so burnt out and you're like, I hate this. You didn't hate the topic, you hated the energy.
Mm-hmm.
Is this resonating?
Totally.
Yeah, totally. So Amanda, you just finished a big launch process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yesterday I felt all of it. Because again, it's like a lot has happened in this last week. And then there's other stuff outside of what everybody knows that's going on. So I have so much. And yesterday was just that day where I was like, okay, I feel like I'm going to collapse.
Yeah.
So yes, I was working in so much masculine, boom, 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 that it just hit me that, okay, you need to stop. And I have learned to listen to my body, which I've always been really good at it, but I do tend to like push things down. That's just how I am. But I said yesterday, I said, screw this. Put your phone down and go get in bed. So I did. And because of that, I was able to be fully present when my husband got home last night. Because again, I know he's noticed, he has to, that I've not been Amanda. It's just, shoot, the last 3 months have been like a spin, like, and now it's like, now that things are starting to get back into normal and not normal, whatever normal is, it's just now it's like, okay, now I have to readjust my schedule because I got so used to doing this. And then I'm going into this launch, and then I'm doing this and creating that, creating this, and blah, blah, blah. It's like, holy crap. So yeah, it all hit me yesterday. And you need to listen to your body. And to listen to your body, there needs to be some calm, like just step back. It's almost like you need to step back and like look at your life, like what's going on, and kind of, you need to be able to grasp things. And I think what happens is we're more in the middle of it. We're not able to grasp them because we were just spinning in the middle of it. So yeah, yesterday I was just like, okay, my kids are gone. And I thought to myself, I'm going to get all this stuff done.
Oh,
yeah. I was like, I literally was like, ugh. I'm like, okay, just going to bed.
Because if you think about that, the batteries in the remote control, is your feminine energy battery was so like low, and your masculine battery energy was so high, and you needed to shift some of that energy. And I know exactly what you're talking about. In fact, when I got done launching my thing about a month ago, do you remember how I messaged you and I'm like,
yes,
like, this is what I'm feeling like.
I love,
like, oh,
but
I know,
tell your analogy of the
Yeah.
birthing and then what afterwards. Like, you need to explain that.
Okay.
The way you explained that was just gold.
Right. So anybody who's working on a big project, just working, putting all your heart, soul, creative energy into it, and then the project is done, and there's this big empty space afterwards. You're like, now what do I do? And it could be a work project of your own, from your own creation. It could be something you are required to do from a boss or as a team, whatever that is. But it's like, it's the process of birthing a child. So there's the conception of the idea, and then there's the nurturing of it, the creative, the growing, the energy that goes into it, the life force that's fed into it. And then, the culmination, the birth is close, and that it gets really intense right at the end, right before it all happens, right? You ask anybody who's launched a course or a program or anything, and that last week to 2 weeks, and then even the last 2 days, the day before, is so intense. And then you give birth and it happens, right? And then you are exhausted, you hurt, your emotions are all over the place. You don't know which way is up or down. You just don't even know what to do with yourself. Like for me, I feel empty. I feel full. I feel like crying. I feel hungry. I feel like I want to be alone. I feel like I want to go out and celebrate. I just don't know. I'm so upside down. And I went through that this first time with this big launch, because I've never done something like that almost all by myself. I totally had support from other people, including y'all. But it was my thing, and I birthed it. And then I didn't know, nobody told me about the after. Nobody told me what to expect. I didn't know. So I messaged Amanda, I'm like, I feel like I just birthed a child. Because that's like, I have birthed 2 children. I know what that feels like. It's like, that's how I related to it. But anyway, it was, I don't even know what to say. Like, if you've never been through it, you're going to go, she's crazy. I don't even know what she's talking about. But if you've been through it, you know.
And I feel that not a lot of coaches talk about, not a lot of people talk about. And I have, some of my coaches have said, okay, you did it, now celebrate. I'm like, but I don't want to celebrate. I just want to crawl into bed.
I want to sleep.
What do you mean celebrate? Like, I'm just going to go over here and sit in the corner right now. Like, again, it's like, maybe they don't feel that, but they have to. It's like, talk about that. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad you said that, because I feel some women that are listening needed to hear that, because going through the process of creating and doing and boom, boom, boom. And I've never created an evergreen course, nor did I understand really what it was until I started doing it. Obviously, it's a self-paced course that's all recorded and you have everything out and then you release it. And again, mine is not finished. It's halfway done, but I can release it because the majority of it's done. So I'm just like, I didn't know all this. So again, I'm learning just as all of us are through this process. But for the women that already know this, it's like they need to be talking about this stuff. You know,
like my sister Jenny had a child before me, and my sister Laura had, I think, 3 children before me. I'm the oldest. Whoa, my microphone. Sorry, there I go with my microphone again. My sisters were amazing, and they told me some of the things to expect in the hospital after I gave birth to a baby. They said, nobody told me that the nurses were going to do this, and nobody told me that this is what my body would do, or what my baby would do, or what my partner would do or not do. So that they gave me some heads up, and I'm so grateful to them that they did, because I went in knowing better of what to do. And when you know more of what to expect, you can adjust your energies ahead of time. I knew that when I was in the hospital after giving birth to a baby, that I needed to just fully rest and relax and let everybody do things for me. Everything I wanted done, I needed to ask. It was extreme feminine energy. It was way, way, way beyond anything I've ever experienced. And I took them up on that. I'm like, you're offering to bring me food? Thank you. You want to bring me a cup of ice water? Thank you. Yep. Check. But when we're in business and entrepreneurs or network marketers or direct salespeople, we don't have that team of people that's there to step in when we need to go back into our feminine energy. And so then we just continue this push, literally a push to just keep maintaining, keep striving, keep accomplishing, keep creating. We can't reside in one energy, in a strong energy, for too long. It's just like our hormone cycles. We have ebbs and flows of our hormones. Estrogen's up at the first half, it's down at the second half. Progesterone is low at the first half, up at the second half. And if we battle against that, there are consequences. Some good, some bad, right? But we literally have to realize that as females, we have this masculine and feminine energy. Men have it too. That's a topic for another podcast. Literally another podcast, not episode, podcast. We're happier people when we align with the natural ebbs and flows of our energies, of our cycles, of our everythings. So this author says that there's some signs of excess masculine energy in women. And then she goes on, and I won't obviously read all of that, is like, what do morning routines look like in the different energies? What do meals look like? Exercise, time with your romantic partner. What does social engagement look like in the different energies? What is winding down your day looking like in the different energies? So I would highly recommend this book. If anybody wants to go out and buy it, it's amazing. It's called Woman Code. But if you are feeling like this, you are probably living too much off your masculine energy, and you might want to work to incorporate some feminine energy activities into your routines. So, and I could check off all of these because I've felt all of these, right? You feel significantly disconnected from your emotions and sensations. You can almost kind of go numb. Locating a sense of self-worth outside of yourself, based on material success in the world and the opinions of others. That's highly masculine, right? Finding it difficult to give and receive nurturing and intimacy. And that is both inside the bedroom as well as outside, but inside the bedroom, especially including pleasure during sex. Having fewer verbal skills for building deep relationships with friends, family, and romantic partners. Have you ever just been in such a masculine energy? You're just like, I don't even want to talk to anybody anymore.
Yep.
And then, yep, you just want to hide, you want to retreat. That's a big sign you're way too much a masculine, because feminine energy looks for those nurturing conversation connections. Here's another one for signs of excess masculine energy. There's 2 more. Being unable to fully get projects up and running the way you envision them. And then feeling isolated and unsupported. Yep. So if you're feeling any of those things, it's time to lean into more feminine energy. Maybe we could
Go take a nap.
Go take a nap. Yeah, probably you're exhausted. You probably are.
Yeah.
Yep. Go take a nap. Start there.
Yeah. And again, I don't take naps very often. Like, I honestly don't like to. I'd rather just lay in bed and just close my eyes for a little while, or lay in bed with the TV on. Just because full-fledged nap, it's like game over, because then I get too much and I'm groggy and I feel like crap. And so yeah, just whatever way you know your body needs to just rest.
Yeah.
And that's me laying down watching Back to the Future.
In Jurassic Park, right?
In Jurassic Park.
Circling around back to how we started this podcast. If I ask for help, they will doubt my competency.
What is happening?
What is going on? Y'all are...
Your phone?
Do you hear that noise?
Yes.
No.
Our phone doesn't ring. Like, I didn't even know we had the phone hooked up. I'm
like an actual phone on the wall phone?
Yeah. Like it's
It
behind.
sounded like you were in an office and your phone was ringing.
It's behind the TV so that because we have one of those really old TVs. So we have the package where you have to get the phone and the internet and everything.
Oh,
so
yeah.
But you can't have everything without the phone. So we just keep it behind the TV. It never rings ever. So I'm like, what is that noise?
Kelly, it's your feminine energy calling. Hello, looking for Kelly.
Wait, there's a thing coming out of the box. Like
it's a box. It's called the voice.
Don't know.
She's probably like, what is this?
What's
The
this
other one, not this one.
An ancient
That's
thing.
called an answering machine.
Our kids will never know what that is.
It's okay, sweetheart. It's over now. The
Traumatizer?
It's okay. That used to be a thing a long time ago.
I remember I used to tell people on this thing.
That was amazing.
She's like, why is there this,
what is
this man's voice coming out of it? It's the answering machine that we never use. I mean, we literally never use it.
That is hilarious.
I've never heard it ring, ever. So there you go. Sorry.
That would be the best outtake ever. I think that needs to be the beginning. It can be our intro. Okay.
Sorry.
Back to it.
You don't have to be a professional to have a podcast.
Nope.
Oh, Kelly. Oh my God.
Back together. Sorry.
Back to our original question at the beginning.
Okay.
Yes.
If I ask for help, they will doubt my competency. If I can't do this alone, I am incompetent. If you feel like that, it's a huge sign your energies are off, because that voice in your head telling you that is a liar, and it's not real. She's not telling you the truth. Like, you are competent and you're completely capable. But what tools do you need? Do you need rest? Do you need food? Do you need time with friends? Do you need time alone? Do you need to do something creative that's not like part of an outcome of a project, but it's just creativeness for the pure pleasure of creativeness?
Mm-hmm.
What is it that you need to bring your energies back into balance?
This just made me think, when you said that, about introverts and extroverts. I think that needs to be our next podcast, because I have some things to chat about in that area.
We can do it.
Let's do it next time.
Okay.
Good. Now we know what our next topic is.
Yeah, I think that's good. That's a wrap.
Cool.
Okay. That was a good one, ladies.
Yeah. Very good.
Okay. And we even got a really good outtake.
Oh my gosh. I know. That was hilarious.
Did she really not know what the
she really did
machine
not
was?
know. I don't think the answering machine has never, ever gone on. Like, literally never gone on.
That's funny.
Was the man's voice, she heard somebody leaving a message, or was it the, hey, you've reached so-and-so?
You know, that generic computer that says,
oh,
you've reached 30, you know, whatever.
Yeah, whatever the phone number is.
Yeah.
Huh. That's so funny.
Yeah.
But I guess there is nothing like that we've ever really had. I don't know.
Yeah, since our kids have been born, we've never had a landline.
The only
Maybe when
reason
they
we
were
have-
first in the beginning, but
the
yeah.
only reason we have one is because of that, the way that they hook it up.
Right.
Else we
Yep.
would not.
Right.
At all.
Well, I could hook up to my internet here that I have through AT&T. I could hook up a phone line, but
Mhm.
yeah, why? But okay.
Well, have fun